Welcome everyone, Joe with ECRM here at our Center Store sessions in Chicago, and with me is Bryson from MPG, who gave a presentation on amplifying your success with Amazon during our Innovate X Winning in Grocery symposium that we had this week. So we're gonna get into some of the things that all brands should know about doing business with Amazon. So Bryson, thank you so much for joining us and for your presentation. So just to get started, before you get into the details on Amazon itself, what are just overall some of the key elements for successful digital strategy for brands?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Really, if you break it down, you just need to have operational excellence, which includes making sure you're in stock all the time, making sure that your supply chain is clean and you don't have any leakage to worry about other third-party sellers of your product. And if you know that you're going to be in stock all the time, then you just need to have quality content and make sure you're retail ready, which includes having quality pictures, additional brand store content, and A+ content on your page, and then a decent pricing strategy. Outside of that, if you got a great brand, it'll sell.
All right, so those are the basics, right? You need that before you start doing anything with e-commerce. So now we get into Amazon itself. So can you walk us through the fulfillment models that are offered with Amazon?
Yeah, so like I said, operational excellence is something we shoot for on both 1P and 3P, which are the two different models on Amazon, right? 1P is a traditional retailer agreement model like you would have with any normal grocery store.
Okay.
Amazon places the purchase order from you. You fulfill that purchase order. Amazon is the seller of record, and they set the retail price. So normal co-op agreements are involved. Traditional chargebacks for damages and things like that. But really, it's just a direct retailer relationship where you're selling a wholesale and Amazon's selling a retail.
So it's like a brick and mortar retailer here. They buy the goods, they sell it, and
Exactly.
okay, except it's e-commerce. So that's the
Yeah.
first. That's 1P is first party, right?
Yeah, first party.
Gotcha.
Amazon, and Amazon is the first party
Gotcha.
selling to the consumer. And then you have 3P or third party, where you are the seller of record. You're still sending product to Amazon, but instead of them placing a purchase order for the product, you tell Amazon, hey, I'm going to ship X amount of product into you. You send them the product in-house, and then just like on the 1P side, you're still responsible for driving the consumption and driving the desire for the consumers to purchase your product. But instead of selling it wholesale to Amazon and them having the normal retail agreement, now you're selling it full retail to your customers, but Amazon charges you storage fees. They charge you fulfillment fees because they still provide that prime to the customer, and then they also charge you what they call a referral fee, which is basically a commission for using their platform.
Gotcha. Okay, so they're the platform. You're still doing the stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, great. So now, how does inventory management work for these two different models?
Yeah. So let's go to 1P first, and similar to a traditional retailer, your job is to fulfill the orders that Amazon places. So there's much more hands-off on the inventory because once you sell it, Amazon owns it. They can do whatever they want with it, right? Okay. So they ship it between their fulfillment centers wherever they want to. They send it to the consumers however they want to. And really, your only job is to fill the POs that they send you. So 1P is the simplest for inventory management because all you have to make sure is you have enough inventory to fulfill their purchase orders.
Gotcha. And how often will those purchase orders come if, let's say, you are selling pretty well?
Yeah, if your standard is weekly, they usually come on Sundays, sometimes Mondays or Tuesdays. The order volume tends to be a bit of a cycle. Amazon orders up inventory up to about 7-8 weeks of coverage depending on your category, and then they like to let it run down to 4 or 5 weeks, and then they order up again. So you have a little bit of a curve up and down, but they are regular and typically on Sundays.
Excellent. Okay, and then with 3P?
So on 3P, you have to manage your inventory yourself. Amazon still will move things between their fulfillment centers to be able to meet that prime eligibility so that you have your product in as many warehouses as possible for when the customer orders. But it's your job to ship an inventory to meet demand. And if you don't have enough in, you don't get penalized by Amazon, you get penalized because you don't have product to sell, right? But if you send too much in, after 180 days, you can start getting long-term storage fees. So it's up to you to manage your inventory levels appropriately, like Amazon does for you on the one piece side.
So you have to, and you're the one that's tracking and making sure that you're getting them enough stuff to.
Yeah, that is
Okay.
the brand's job at that point, is to make sure that you're paying attention to your sales consumption, sending in enough product to cover it, but not too much to where you're going to get dinged for all your fees, because at the end of the day, it's not cheap to sell on Amazon.
Yeah.
Every penny matters. So
Gotcha. So what are some best practices for driving traffic on Amazon, right? Because ultimately you want to get customers to your page to get those.
right, we want to drive those sales. If we're selling at retail, we want those retail dollars. If we're selling wholesale to Amazon, we want to make those POs come in faster. So yeah, I mean, really comes down to smart planning ahead of time, looking at the budget you have and using that strategically. But you know, if you ask Amazon, they tell you it's spending on ads, right? Sponsored products. And that really is the first bucket that everyone should go to. But before you drive traffic, you want to make sure that the traffic you send will convert on your product. Because if your detail page doesn't look beautiful when they show up, people will find someone's that does look beautiful. So really the first dollar you spend should be on quality content, main images, product carousels full, have a brand or a product video. The rest of your page should look beautiful, just like we were talking about before, right? But once you have a page that you can be proud of, or what they call retail ready, then it's all about smart ad strategy. Supplement that with external traffic driving to drive traffic onto Amazon, but content first, ads second.
So that content is essentially the same as your packaging on the shelf,
100%,
right? It's the same.
yeah.
It's got to have the same effect. It's like that content serves that purpose. It's got to get that person who's on the page to act and click.
Yeah, you heard my talk, right? Like on the retail shelf, you pick up a product, they say you have 3 seconds
Yes.
to make that sale,
Yep.
right? Well,
Yep.
on Amazon or any digital marketplace, really, your 3 seconds is when that person lands on your detail page. So you only get one chance to make a first impression.
Yeah, because it's too easy to go to the next one.
Oh.
It's too easy.
Yeah.
So
they're all over your page.
Yep.
Amazon
Yeah,
puts them
exactly.
there.
Yeah. So you don't even have to. The competitor's right there afterwards. So for new brands that are looking to get started on Amazon, what are your recommendations on what are the first steps? How do they get started?
Well, when I worked on brand side originally, I was that brand looking to get started on Amazon, and no one really told me what to do. And so what I did, and I highly recommend this, is find an expert to help you and point you in the right direction, because there's a lot of early mistakes that you can make on Amazon that set you back, whether you set up your catalog wrong and then you have to deal with Amazon support for a long time, or you enter a UPC incorrectly and then you have to create a whole new product and lose all the reviews that you gain. There's a lot of kind of like tripwires, especially when you're first getting started, that an expert can definitely help you with. But assuming you set it all up correctly, I would say Amazon is not a short-term sales solution. If you don't come in with a bunch of brand equity, it takes time to build a brand, and Amazon is just one piece to a larger picture. So have an expert, make sure Amazon's not your one basket of eggs, right? And ensure that you're driving the right traffic to your page, because just because you can get traffic, it's like people buying likes for their Facebook page, right? That doesn't really do anything. So as long as you're getting the right traffic to your page and your content looks beautiful, then you're set up for success for sure.
Excellent. All right, well, and here's an expert right here in case you need to tap into one. So listen, thanks for the presentation, and thanks for sharing these insights.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.